Hi, I'm Chris, and I am the designer of the board game HexMage, and this is a tutorial video to teach you how to play the game. What is HexMage? HexMage is a board game for two players, similar to chess or checkers, and each player controls one side, either white or black player, and you control an army of dueling mages, elemental mages, trying to kill each other. So, how do you win? Well, there are two main objectives in the game of HexMage. The first one is to kill your opponent's Archmage, which is like the king in chess, only not useless, or kill all 6 of your opponent's elemental mages and leave their Archmage alone on the battlefield to die a horrible, awful, painful, torturous death. What should be in the box is you're going to get 12 of these white gemstones and 12 blue, or actually they're going to be black gemstones. These are just what I had laying around the house. Your colors will actually be black and white. And these are your damage counters. You're going to get 40 hex tiles like this. You're going to get 4 mats. You're going to get a black counter mat. You're going to get a white counter mat. You're going to get a rules mat, looks like that, and you're going to get a turn sample mat, looks like that, and of course the game board. Okay, so to set up the game, each player is going to get their color counter mat. Just goes like that, counter mat like that. And you're going to want to pick out your 7 mage tiles. And you're going to notice on each one there's a number. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. You see the crown right there? That's your unit number. So you're going to want to pick out the 1 and the 2 of each mage. So you're going to have 7 in total, and then your Archmage, which looks like that. And just to show you, the black Archmage looks like that. And they don't have a crown because you're only supposed to have 1 on the board. You're going to take your 7 tiles. Once you have them sorted out, you're going to take your stack of 7 tiles, and they're going to go on your mage starting tower. This is the white starting tower. This over here is the black starting tower. You're also going to want 9 spell stones. You get 12 in the game, but you're only going to start with 9. There's 3 extras. So one thing to note is the game does come with extras. So if you wanted to try different variations of the game, like if you wanted to try it with 4 fire mages and 4 lightning mages and no earth mages or something, you could try that and see how it works out for you. If you want to try, mixing it up a little bit, the game allows for that. Okay, so the last thing you want to do is set up the terrain tiles, and that's these guys here. So just going to put them on the board upside down so you don't know what they are. Mix them around a little bit, and then you want to start. The standard setup is to have 6 tiles on the board. You can have more, you could have less, you could have none, and then you just place them randomly on the board like so. I kind of like to do like 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and like 1 or 2 in the middle, just to kind of keep it even a little bit, but you can do it however you like. Okay. And that's it. So now your game is set up. The final setup looks like there's your spellstone pool, there's your counter mat, there's your starting units, terrain, and the same thing for black. So the first mage type is fire. This is what fire looks like. And he has the most balanced stats. So just to go over the stats real quick, this is your unit number, the crown right there. That's mage number 1. And then this is his starting hit points. There is no maximum hit points. You can go above his starting hit points. This is how many times he can jump. And this is his damage. This little guy over here, the last number, is his damage. How many times, how much damage he does per jump. So every time he jumps, he does 3 damage. So this is the Earth Mage. He's the strongest in terms of health and damage, but he has the least, but he's also the slowest. So he can only jump twice, but he does 4 damage for each jump. You have the Lightning Mage. This is what the Lightning Mage looks like, and he is the fastest. He can jump 4 times in a row, but he only does 1 damage, and he only has 5 hit points. And then finally, you have your all-important Archmage, which is like your king. He has the most hit points. He has 12 hit points, and he can jump twice and do 2 damage. Now I'm going to go over the 4 terrain types. So this is lightning. This is a lightning storm. This is a lava field or fire field. This is a mountain. And this is a tower. Each turn you get 4 action points. And these action points can be spent in any number of ways. Each move costs 1 point, whereas a jump costs 2 points. So you can move one mage 2 hexes, and that costs 2 points, and then you can have him jump, and that costs 2 points, and that's your 4 points for the turn. Or you could have one mage move 4 hexes, and that's it. The spellstones can be used in a number of ways. You can give yourself more action points. So you start with 4 action points. If you want to, you could use 2 spellstones or whatever. Up to a maximum of 4 per turn. You can use 4 spellstones per turn. So if you wanted to, you could use a couple of spellstones to give yourself more action points, and then you could move and jump more to do bigger combos and you know, kill your opponent faster that way. But the caveat is that you don't get them back, so you only get to use it once per game. So if you use them too early, then you won't have them later on at the end game. You can also heal them. You can heal your units by using the spellstones. You can also increase their jump, and you can increase their damage. And it's a 1-for-1 ratio, so 1 point, 1 spellstone increases that attribute by 1 point. And you can stack the spellstones on a unit, so you could use 4 spellstones and increase your Earth Mage's damage to 8 points. But again, if you do that, then you won't have them later. The final thing to know about the spellstones is that you have to declare your targets and how many spellstones you're going to use before you take any actions on the board. So if you move, you can't use your spellstones after that. You have to do it before. So to move and jump in HexMage is basically works the same mechanic as checkers, if you ever played checkers. Just each move is 1 point, so this is 1 point, this is 1 point, this is 1 point. To jump, basically just like checkers, this is a jump, legal jump, boom, that's a simple jump. Boom, boom would be a double jump, and each one of these guys would be taking 3 points of damage. So a single jump is just 1 jump. A jump chain would be more than 1 jump. So 1, 2 would be 2, and he has a maximum of 3. So if there was another guy like here, then he would be able to jump 1 more, and that would be it. That would be the last jump that he could do in his jump chain. One thing you should know is that each jump chain, no matter how many jumps are in the jump chain, costs 2 points. So whether you only jump once or twice, 3 times, whatever, it doesn't matter. It costs you 2 action points. This mage could jump 3 times, and then if there was more units over here, he could jump another 3 because you still have 2 action points left. So in HexMage, there is no restriction as to which direction any mage can move in any direction, as long as you have an unoccupied space at the end of your move. So if you have your own mages here, you can move through his space. That's 1 point, and that's 1 point for 2 action points. And if I had another one here, then I could go here and then move here. That's okay too. But you always have to have an empty space here. So if this guy's here, I can't move here and here because I don't have an empty space at the end of the move. And that also goes for jumping. So normally, like, this would be a legal move, but if there's another mage here, then I cannot do that because I don't have an unoccupied space at the end of the move. Or if I have another guy here, I can't do that either. So terrain always starts out hidden, and if you want to reveal a terrain, let's say I have this lightning mage here, I move 1, 2, and I flip over the terrain, and it's a lightning storm. So that means that this mage is going to get 1 point of health back, or increase his health by 1 point. So I'm going to take damage counter here, okay. And I'm going to find, so this is number 2, so then I'm going to put a health counter on him here, and that indicates that he has increased his health by 1 point. He also gets a +1 to his damage, so these are the damage counters, and this is +1, -1, in case he takes a penalty. So that can just go right on the tile like that, like so, to indicate that he has a damage counter. The terrain tiles are removed from the board after they're revealed, and that will last until his next jump. So no matter how many turns, 3 turns later, if he finally gets to jump again, there's a guy over here, and he moves here, and then he jumps him, then that damage goes away. That also lasts for his entire jump chain. So if you've got 2 guys here, and he goes 1, and then boom, 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 and he hits all 3 of these guys, then all of those guys will take 2 damage instead of 1. Now, the exception to that is, let's say you got your lightning mage here, he moves 1, and then he goes boom, and then you flip it over, it's the lightning. So he gets his damage counter, and then he goes boom and boom. This guy over here is only going to take 1 point of damage because he hadn't flipped over the terrain tile yet. So he still takes the regular damage. But these 2 guys are going to take 2 points of damage instead of 1. And then his damage counter has been used up already, so it's no longer viable. He's used it for that jump chain and you're done. So in that case, it does not carry over to any more turns. It's only used for that turn. Well, that's all for this video. I will be doing other videos in the future. I'm also constantly updating this game. So if you buy a copy and your pieces look different, if the graphics look different, I've made rules tweaks, I've made attribute tweaks based on my own playtesting and user feedback. So don't freak out if things look a little different, because I'm always working on this game. But yeah, so that's all, and thanks for watching, and happy gaming.